Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I am your host Shae the Red, and I am very much in my element while I'm here talking with the super amazing Mr. Honors II. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. This is dope.
Hell yeah! This is what we do over here. See, we bring something different to the playing field. I try to act like I'm cool. I'm not cool at all. I'm the biggest dork that has ever existed. So we're here for a campaign that, in all honesty, a lot of my audience may have not heard about, because kind of one of the things that I won't say reprimanding, because that's too mean. Lovingly suggesting was that you were really quiet when it came to a lot of this promotion.
Yeah.
Real quick, I have to address Chris, who is trying to make me out to be some sort of a monster. It's totally fake.
No.
It is 1,000% fake. And it's fur, but yeah, it's like $10. It's a $10 stole. It's not real.
It looks good though. You're good.
See, I just have to look the part without, like, I don't actually want to wear a hide on my back. Anywho, so we're here because you have a Viking book, which is so exciting for Red Valkyrie, because Vikings,
of course,
and all of that. And it's Holger the Last Viking. So we're going to start with your video, and then we're going to go into what the crap is Holger the Last Viking.
Cool.
I was getting confused because I saw number one. This is my life, people. I'm sorry. Sound good to you?
Sounds good. Let's get it.
Oh, you think after like 100 and something shows it'd stop being a shit show, but apparently not. Oh, I like it. So tell us a little bit more about Holger the Last Viking.
Yeah, so Holger the Last Viking, it was a book that that I've had sitting in my head for a while. I wanted to, not, of course, not disrespect anybody's culture. I definitely love the Viking culture, and I wanted to kind of bring like a different story to it. And I was thinking, like, everybody always shows on the shows these these Vikings that are, savages and, all about war and things like that. And I kind of wanted to peel back, and I'm pretty sure, like, reading about, their history and things of that nature, they were cool people that wanted that liked to travel. And I felt like that was the interesting piece that sometimes is left out. So this story is pretty much, the descendants of Viking culture has migrated to this land that I made up called Frida. And of course, it's the land of the peace. And there's 4 factions, all from Viking travels destinations, which is, you have North African, the Scandinavians, which is the individuals who started this culture, the Mediterranean, Greenland, and Iceland, and they all come together and live in harmony on this island. However, there's going to be, of course, individuals who want to get back to that old way and that old form of culture, who wants to go outside and start doing the same things that people are know them for. And Holger is the king of this island, and he wants to keep peace, and that's pretty much what this story is: an individual trying to keep peace on this land, of his people.
That is awesome. And I gotta say, I really love this this couple of sequences that you have right here where it's a father-son kind of like training moment, and he's trying to teach him to be this fierce warrior that he maybe is not quite prepared to be just yet.
Right.
And I love the look of, because this is a very dad look. Like, my dad used to train me in knife throwing and shooting guns and martial arts, and that I saw that look a lot. I saw that look a lot when you were like, okay, we're gonna spar, and you see the look in his face, and you're like, oh no,
Right.
like, I gotta get this right, or I'm gonna get hurt.
Right. And Holger kind of derives from my stepdad, and he was like the same way, because of course I play basketball and with the college and stuff like that for that. And my stepfather would literally, even days where I didn't want to get up, he'd be like, hey, let's go, we're gonna go work out, we're gonna go train, we're gonna go run. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to do this.
Relentless, aren't they? Like, my dad would be like, you're really gonna sit on the couch again? You don't want to go up and spar? And I was like, I don't want to get punched. And he was like, come on. I was like, all right. But this look, like, your artist did a phenomenal job of capturing that, like, the proud dad moment where he's like, maybe this time they're gonna get it, and the look of the kid of like, oh, son of a bitch, not again. Like, I'm not gonna do this well. Like, I don't like this game. And I love it, because it's none of this feels overly cocky. It all feels very like fatherly. It really does. It feels like, I want you to be better. I'm showing you where you're falling, and so you can be better. And I love it. I just think it's very well done.
CT is awesome. He's a great artist. He's an even better just friend, individual. And like, I seen his work on Twitter, and I was like, man, one day I want to make something cool for him. And we finally got to put it together. So I'm happy that you guys see that.
That is awesome. And then, of course, because Mr. Honors II is super amazing, he sends us more art that we get to gush over. And I'm going to, that's too far. Come on, computer, you can do all the things. So we've got this really, 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 you're not gonna let me zoom up.
Okay,
I love technology. It seriously will not let me scroll up. So we're gonna look at what we can see of it. But the thing is, if you're looking at kind of the detail and everything, like, you have really good zip tones that are not overused, which is rare. That is a very, very rare thing. People normally go crazy with this, and it overly dominates a scene. You know what I mean? It becomes a distraction. So it's nice to see just well done artwork instead of a crazy distraction. And then, of course, it's not going to show the other one. Gosh, I'm telling you guys, I swear this is not my first time doing this.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, and the other scene that we have is where is it? Where'd it go? Something tells me this is going to be the same one, but we're just going to try it again. It is the same one. Good hell. Alrighty. Well, there's other art. If I can get it to not be a pain in my butt, I will bring it up for you guys, because it has the character that I decided I wanted to cosplay, who is a mega badass. I really, really like the look that you did on her. What did you say her name was again?
Her name was Astrid.
Astrid. That's a perfect name. Are you kidding me? That is a Viking name.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for her, like, I feel like it fits her. Because of course Astrid, the divine strength and a beautiful goddess. So I was like, yo, this has to be her. And it was one of my favorite characters, definitely, of the book too.
So this is the character that I'm cosplaying with the lovely scars and all of the craziness. I love the fact that she's just kind of like a badass. Like, she's like, yeah, I'll judge for myself if they're any good or not. And she just kind of jumps down. They're like, oh shit, yeah, everybody get your weapons. Like, she gonna mess you up if you don't. Like, go get your shit. But I love it because you can see when you see this look right here on this top panel, when you see that look in a woman's eye, be very terrified, especially when you have this coming at her and this is what she looks like, where she's like, all right, let's do this. And it's like, ooh. Like a woman who does not fear a bunch of guys with axes and shields coming down on her. Like that's a badass woman I'd be careful about.
No, seriously, when we first joined up and I seen you with the scar and the hair, I was like, yo, like did I model Astrid after you on accident? Like I don't think I did. And then because I was like, yo, you literally could beat her, and I was like, yo, did I do that? I'm sorry if I don't sue me.
Frog you just said. I'll take it. I love her. She looks super badass. Like she's my kind of girl, you know? I just kind of love her like really serious demeanor where she's like, this is war. This is what we need to do. So
yeah. Astrid is definitely a straight shooter. She plays no games. So when people look at her and when they read, they will get a sense of power. Like all she cares about is becoming the queen of this land. Because of course her ancestors, which are the Scandinavian Vikings, they started this culture. So she believes that belongs to her, and that's all she's coming. That's how she's coming this entire series.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, that's exactly what she looks like. Like she's covered. If you look at this woman, she is covered in scars, and she's got scars that you got to think of it from a modern day female versus Viking female, like back in the day kind of perspective. Right. You protect the shit out of your face because you don't want an ugly scar that's gonna, oh no, it'll change. It's gonna, disfigure me. And she's like, yeah, so I got 2 on my face. I got this nasty one that's on my arm. There's a crap ton all over my body. And she's like, and you know what? I earned every last one of them. And come at me, bro. And it's just like, no, thank you.
Right.
Like you just chill right over there, and I'm just going to sit over in my corner and not piss you off ever, if at all humanly possible. And Frog G says, great world building, great story, character modeled after and great prices. Sounds like a winner to me. I'm totally down for that. I really am. She's, like I said, she's a total badass. I love her. I think that she's amazing.
Just as long as Shae doesn't sue me for using her as a character model, we'll continue to do so.
Oh, sweetie, no. That please. Just because I'm pale, I dye my hair to be ginger, and I'm gigantimo Scandinavian. That's just I'm a stereotype, is what I am. That's what I am, is a stereotype. I also really love that you've got Vikings that you made African. Like, yeah. I think I remember seeing this and I went, oh, okay. Oh, that's different. Like, I know my people pretty well, but damn.
Yeah. I will say that was because that was the biggest fear. I didn't want anybody to feel like I was disrespecting the culture. And during the first 30 days of the campaign, I don't mean the pity part, but I received a lot of hate, DMs, things calling me certain names. I was like, listen, I'm not trying. If you guys just look at the entirety of the story, I'm not demeaning the culture. This is just something I'm trying to add up and make new. And it was tough that first 30 days. Seriously.
Well, so here's the really funny thing, right? As somebody who comes from this kind of a culture, who has done a lot of the research, the Vikings when they took prisoners, they took in all of their people that they captured. Exactly. They made them Vikings. They became part of the tribe. They weren't indentured servants like a lot of people like to think. The Vikings don't have time for that shit. They're like, look, if you're coming with us because we just burned all your shit asunder, what else are you going to do? So you can come with us. If you try to kill us, I promise you will win. But you can come with us. You can learn how to fend for yourself. You can be part of the tribe. You can work with us, and we'll keep moving, or we'll leave you here to die. Those are your two options. And so when you started going through with all of the Scandinavian, Viking bands that were going through all of these countries, you had people of every ethnicity, you had people of every possible background, you had men and women. The women weren't just sex slaves. Like, honey, you're gonna learn how to cook, you're gonna learn how to fight, you're gonna learn how to, because the women are the ones that had to stay back and protect the homestead while the men went out and hunted. So anyone coming on you and saying you're appropriating Viking culture, how do you know that they didn't go down, take some of these guys, like take over an entire place like that and say, hey, you want to come with us or you want to stay here and die? And they went, nah, I'd rather just go with you. That sounds like it would suck to just sit around here. Like
already defeated.
Exactly. It's perfect sense. It is perfect sense. And I agree with Justin. Fuck those haters. Like, y'all don't know your history. Y'all don't know what's actually been going on. And for you to sit here and be like, oh my gosh, but they're black. Really? Fuck off. Seriously. It's an original idea. It is an original everything. I don't give a shit. You can make them purple. See, and I agree with Froggy. I also thought it was pretty badass because I saw it and I was like, that's different. And then the more I started looking, I was like, oh, we've got various factions, and these guys are just, one of.
Right.
Like that's actually kind of cool. And Pedro goes, they're black? I just noticed.
I appreciate it, Patrick.
Don't worry, now it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter.
Right. Definitely, I will say the world building for this. And here's the thing: like doing research when you're going to do something like this, you definitely want to make sure that you're at least accurate in a sense, because you don't want to, of course, get up there and don't know what you're talking about. So I was definitely hitting people up who felt like, Vikings were a part of their culture, and they would be like, okay, so maybe remember the long ships, that's what we're a part of, like shields, things like that. So they were giving me different knowledge while I was building this comic. So it took a lot. It took a lot to build it. So I'm just glad that it's going to see the light of day.
Right. Yeah. And I personally, I think it's great. And Justin says Vikings were also like, that woman's hot. I'm going to take her from this country to bring her to ours. So all of Norway, Iceland, Sweden, and Switzerland are sexy. Fair. That is fair. That is totally fair. Hello, Xavier. How are you doing? And he says that we got pending issues about some stuff you said about my past girlfriend, issues on my art. Sweetie, I redacted this statement. Don't come at me. And if you would have been there like you were supposed to have been, dog, are you freaking for real right now? Go lay down somewhere. I'm sorry, everyone. This is turning into such a shit show. But yes, if you would have been there, Xavier, then you could have defended yourself, but you decided to just go to a barbecue instead. So anywho. So I want to go over, because I really do. I'm really intrigued and I want to see where you take this story. I think that it's really interesting. I love the fact that you've got all these different factions and that they are so dramatically different from one another.
Yes. And
I'm feeling Astrid, because she's like, no, these are my people though. Like I'm like the pure blood kind of thing. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, get them, Astrid. Hell yeah. For all of us pale bitches that can't tan. Like, go after it.
So definitely the thing with the factions, the most important part was I wanted them all to have Viking culture, of course, intertwined with it, while also setting them apart. So like I was imagining, let's say if you go into that faction, you will understand that this faction is vastly different from the other one. So that's definitely that was definitely the goal, making sure that each faction had a different feel, a different tone to it. And you would definitely see factions 1 and 2 in chapter 1, and then of course when chapter 2 drops, you will see the rest of the 3 and the 4 factions, which I can't wait for you guys to see those as well. So it's definitely different when you see all of them.
Well, and it makes sense, because how would you get different factions aside from geographically different regions? You get different factions from people having different ideals. So people that are living in one area that is all about, we're going to conquer all of this stuff, and they're like, yo, I just want to like live without worrying somebody's going to kill me. They're probably not going to hang out with a faction that's like, we're going to conquer everything, and so they're going to naturally migrate to a different area and then find a gathering of people that they're okay with.
Exactly. And of course, thus creating that faction. And I can't wait till you guys definitely see how it of course, things are going to boil over, but I always tell people, I feel like the way we have, decided and planned this book, nothing's going to go the way you think it will. So I can't. I hope we get to those later issues, but again, I can't wait till you read issue 1. Definitely, I can't wait to hear your opinion, Shae. Good, bad, or different. I need to hear it.
Oh, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it. I backed this. I opened this up. I saw that cover and I went, "Oh, I'm intrigued. I might be backing this. I wonder if all the characters are black." And then I scrolled and I went, "Oh, I'm backing it now because that's me. I didn't know I posed for this cover." As Blue Samurai just asked, did Shae model for that cover? I did not know. This is a wonderful coincidence.
Yeah.
I love it. I definitely. So you've got a very streamlined campaign, and you've got what 3 days left. So this is your last 3 days. So you've already extended.
Mm-hmm.
You are going in demand, though, correct?
I am, yes.
Okay, good. So we're going in demand. We are just squeaked past our goal, which is horribly unacceptable. That is entirely unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to hear. I know you got some. I know you got some thoughts. Listen. I'm ready to hear. I have thick skin, so I just go ahead. Just pour it in. I got my pencil. I got my notepad. I'm ready.
Before we do that,
okay,
I'm gonna have you go over your tiers.
I can breathe. Okay, cool.
And then Shae's gonna get into it. But let's have you go over your tiers first, so people know how they can help you out here.
Okay, cool. So the first tier is the Ninja Dollar Saver. Is of course it's named after Holger, and you just get the PDF version. And not too much glitz and glam. The second tier is the Astrid physical pack, and with that one you get the physical copy of the book, which is of course Holger the Last Viking 1. The next tier is the Holger support bundle, and you will get a silhouette or a nice little poster card drawing of Holger that you can see. Of course, if you just scroll down, you will definitely see that. You get his silhouette as well as the physical copy of the book. And then lastly, of course, you get the variant standard, which is you get two copies of the book physically. You get the variant cover, and of course you get the standard cover. Variant cover is done by, of course, Drew Pritchett, and then the standard by CT Anderson.
Hell yeah. And so for the artwork that we are talking about, that is the artwork that you get with the third tier that you had mentioned, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And is that also included in the fourth?
Yeah, we will include. I didn't put it on there, but we definitely will include that in the fourth as well, so people can get that as well.
Okay. So now for the Shae time. Why, kind sir, is your priciest tier $25?
All right. So this is my rationale, and it could be wrong, but and this is why you're here to tell me. So my rationale is I'm a relatively new writer. This is a relatively new story. And I was like, okay, I want to try to ensure and keep it, keep it in good pricing. We're going through a pandemic. So I didn't really, honestly, when I started, I didn't know how well it would do because of the pandemic. So I wanted to keep everything reasonably priced. And I didn't want to give I've seen a lot of tiers. They do, t-shirts. And I was like, I might want to do that next if it gets funded. So I just wanted to try to make sure it got funded,
which is perfectly acceptable. Now, here is the mentality that I have. Mm-hmm. What would it hurt if you put up a tier that had some original art from some of these absolutely gorgeous pages that you have for a few hundred? Worst case scenario, they don't sell. Best case scenario, they do.
True.
So having a tier where you're giving somebody the option, should they want some original art, should they want to throw a little more money at a campaign that seems genuinely interesting, mm-hmm. It wouldn't hurt anything, right?
Right.
Worst case scenario, nobody buys any of it. You hold on to it when you launch the second campaign. You offer original art from the first and the second.
Right. So you're saying at least just attempt it, go for it. Because if
you don't ever offer it, then people can never show you that they would support it. True. So your pandemic pricing, phenomenal. Good idea. I understand your where your head's at when it comes to that. What I'm saying is, in addition to that, give people a chance to actually support you, because $25 is all well and good, but you're sitting over here with 78 backers and you haven't even broken 2K. You have 78 backers. That's a decent amount of backers. Now, granted, you obviously need to promote this a little bit more because it's been very quiet. And if this were on a bunch more live streams, if you were tweeting about this more, if you were growing your own audience, letting people get to see who you are and meet you as the creator, then I think that this number would get a lot nicer. Frog just killing me here. Yeah, like Chris said, pandemic pricing, who knows how long you will last. Stadio, thank you so much for coming out, dude. You're always amazing. And that's exactly right, Wolverine. Having a more expensive tier doesn't mean that people all are going to have to buy that tier. It just means that you're giving people who have money, who want to help support smaller creators, and you have a lot of people who want to back for the thrill of helping a new creator get funded and get known. And so I know people that if it's already funded, they either won't back, or if they do back at a lower tier. But if it's not funded and you're coming close on your days and you got $100 tier that's still sitting there, they're gonna be like, well, screw that shit, I'm gonna go get that. And there you go. You know what I mean? And that's just like what Wolverine said. You can keep it affordable and still have a higher tier.
Okay. See, this is why I need to make more comic friends like you guys. You know what I mean?
Right?
So you guys can teach me as I'm learning. I'm the Padawan. I need
absolutely
help.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Why do you think I have Red Valkyrie Presents? This is what we do. And then when I finally launch my own book, watch me make all these same mistakes and have everyone go, hey, Rad, do you remember your entire series that you have about what not to do on Indiegogo? You just did all of it, and be like, I know. Although I don't
thank you. I appreciate you. That is awesome.
That's what we're here for. That is exactly why Sai and I started Red Valkyrie. And when Sai gets back, we will have a lot more to offer everybody, because Sai has a crap ton of knowledge that is just phenomenal. So Froggy G is saying this 79 back. Ooh, so I'm thinking what has happened is Frog has backed. And
yes, he has. Thank you.
So you're at 80 backers. We're at 1579. And this is why I say you need to put original art tiers in there. You also have people who have a lot more money to throw around. And so you've got people who do really awesome stuff. Like Tug recently just posted on there, hey, I got some extra money. Tweet at me projects that I may have not seen. I'm looking to spend.
Oh, cool.
Those happen frequently.
Okay.
So make sure that you give people a place where they can spend, because I could throw you $5 or I could throw you 200.
Right.
And then I get to feel like I made a big difference. You get to see your numbers bump up pretty well. That's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a cool comic community. Indie comic. I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of like getting to know the people, more people, you know?
I'm going to be honest. I don't think that you have at all. And just like Wolverine said, there's so many costs that you've got to cover. Don't be afraid to offer heavier hitting tiers that maybe are a little bit pricier, and understand that isn't where the majority of your backers are going to back, but you only need a couple of backers to back at those higher tiers.
Right.
Justin, thank you for sharing in 3 different comic groups on Facebook. We appreciate all of your help for sure. Nice, Pedro, I agree. The pages look super solid. You've got a very good artist. You have a very good crew around you, it seems like, because it's a very eye-catching book, and there's not anything that stands out as this is off, or this is weird, or this anatomy is wrong. Like, it's very well done.
Nice. Yeah, see, all that credit goes to CT. Like it's the thing that I wanted to really attack for this book. I know, like when I saw him, like I felt like the art was gonna be fine. The writing was like I have to keep up with the art because I didn't want it to be one of those situations where the art carries the writing. Like I wanted to go hand to hand. So like I rewritten and sent it to him, and we worked on like the script was like a working fluid thing because I wanted it to be up there. So hopefully they see the writing and they see the art and it's like, yes, this is a good book. So
yeah, exactly. And Justin Dutton says you could do some cool props. That a prop tier I would probably hold off on until your next campaign, because you are about to go in demand. So unless you're going to stay in demand for a while,
right,
it might be a little bit harder to get the word out about that. And before it goes away, my good heavens, 656, thank you very much for your 50 Mexican dollars. We apologize for X's behavior. Now back to Holger and Undone Border, escape or die.
I think I was in a stream with 656. They
are badass.
I think I was on with them with Come Get Some. So yeah, their book looks really interesting. I definitely got to back that soon. So
they 656, they're good friends of the show. We've got a stream coming up with them in a week or two, I think. It's gonna be pretty badass. So yeah, they're an awesome crew. I'm gonna make them eat Chico's tacos. And Pedro goes, it's Mexican peso, Shae. I know, I was being facetious. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the Mexican pesos. Wolverine says it's gonna be like 45 cents. I like it. We also had Wolverine. Okay, so I have a thing for patches. I just like patches. I really do. I've got jackets that I'm putting all of my indie comic patches on. I'm going to tell you right now, unless you rock it up to 6K plus, no patches.
No patches?
No patches, because just like Chris is saying, your perks are dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Just like Justin said, you should raise your shipping because you have done very, very, very cheap shipping. So what a lot of people don't fully understand is shipping costs end up eating away a lot of your budget.
Yeah.
I think that you're probably in the right headspace when it comes to this. You're trying to establish a name for yourself. You're making sure that as long as your artists can get paid and your books can get out, if you take a little bit of a hit, you take a hit. The next book we can get you way better off, but we would like you to not take a hit the first time.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. I feel like you read me like a book. I don't know what this is. This is like literally the first time we like had a voice experience. But yeah, it's like yeah. That was literally like I was like, okay, yeah, I'm cool. I don't want to make anything back. We're just gonna try to get this book out, and then people gonna rock with the second one. So Shae, stop reading me. I don't know what I have to do. Get out my head. Or...
It's sorry. But yeah, so just like Justin was saying, 6 or 8 for shipping is usually basically if you do anything or less for domestic. 10 is a little bit much because it shouldn't cost you that much. But when you're thinking of shipping, that's not just what it costs for you to literally ship the book.
Right.
As in like go to the post office, that's how much you're paying the post office. You're also looking at Gemini mailers if you want to make sure it's going to be protected well. You're looking at bags and boards if you want to make sure that you are protecting it within the Gemini mailer in case something were to get wet or something along those lines.
Right.
You got tapes, labels, just like Wolverine's got it. All of those miscellaneous stuff like tapes, labels, boxes, mailers, shipping costs, everything. That is all shipping. Right. When you're talking about shipping, and then you have production. So production is going into paying your artist, paying your letterer, paying if you have a different inker, if you have a colorist, whoever the writer is, paying all of those people as part of your production costs, as well as how are you printing it? What kind of paperweight are you doing? What kind of cover are you doing? Gloss? Are you doing spot gloss? Are you doing UV? What are you doing? Is it going to be perfect bound? Is it going to be stapled? What is it? Right. So all of those little tiny intricacies are what a lot of people forget about. And that's how you end up taking losses on projects.
Okay.
I
am taking these notes. So, just bear with me for a quick second.
You're totally fine. And I didn't force Tim to pull Melvin. We talked about it and he decided that was probably what was best. However, I don't think that this is anywhere. First off, it's funded, so it definitely isn't in that realm. Secondly, Honors knows that he might be taking a bit of a loss on this one, and he's okay with that because he wants to get a product out to people so people get to know who he is as a writer, know who his art team is, know what it is he's offering and going to produce. And that's what we want to see in creators. I want to see creators who understand that they did this as an investment and that we're going to do what we can to get them better set up in the future. But I mean, he's going in demand, guys. We have time. We have time for us to help get this a lot higher because $1,500 is a crying shame for how good this art is. That is insanity for how good this art is.
So yeah, and I think, like you said, I need to definitely start, reaching out, understanding, making connections, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna stay in contact with you. You gotta school me.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. That's what we do. That is what we do. And 656, I promise you, it is in the works. I just have to sit my slow, lazy butt down and actually film it. But yes, Valkyries and Bead is going to do, it's going to be an entire series where we just talk about all this kind of stuff for crowdfunding, where we kind of break it down and help with the mysteries of it all. And so people can learn and hopefully launch and start out on a much better foot than most of us do when we very first start. Blue Samurai says that we need to refresh. Hell to the yes.
Dope. Thank you, Blue Samurai. Oh, listen. First of all, feudal Japanese is like my favorite thing of all time. So, if anything with samurai ninjas, I'm there. So appreciate you.
Yep, exactly. And Wolverine says that, I think the hardest part about taking a loss on your first project is it's nowhere near as easy to do a second one as it would be if you didn't have to take a loss, which is very true. Taking a loss on your first project is going to delay future projects because that came out of your funding pool. Yeah. Yeah, so Blue Samurai says he is actually not the one backing today. Thank you for going in demand because he can spread his budget out and still back it, which is
appreciate it. No worries.
Right. Yeah, that is what we want to see. Justin is actually the one who backed it to make it to 1625.
Thank you, Justin. So nice. I think I was on the show with Justin. I think I was on the show with you too. With and again, I was doing the goodbye, the last goodbye. So I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You gave me some knowledge too.
Hell yeah! That's what we try to do. Justin is a great person to help get a lot of info out of, because he genuinely cares. We've got there's a lot of people around here. Tompo's really good at promoting people. Obviously, we do a lot of advice and try to help make things better. There's some people that have stuff that I don't necessarily agree with because I feel like it's a little bit too rigid and too narrow-minded, but it really kind of depends on your personality, what time you have, and what you're willing to put into your own project as to what is going to be the most effective way for you to move your crowdfunding forward. I am going to say to the chat, please, if you have any questions at all for the magnificent Honors about his brilliant looking project that definitely needs to continue to climb, please post them in the chat, and so we can get those answered. I very much am down for this project. So how many pages did we say it was?
It was 28 pages.
28 pages. Okay. So 28 pages of story. Have you worked on any stretch goals?
Again, no, I haven't.
Okay.
I was actually debating about doing like a little side asterisk comic, like maybe like a 4 or 5 pager, something that we
Hmm.
can like just put out there so you can give us some backstory. So I was thinking about doing something for that, but again, it depends. It would have to, of course, that goal would have to increase, or
Yeah.
that price would have to increase.
Yeah. So I will say some of the cheaper stretch goals for people to do is add a couple of pages,
Okay.
because adding a few pages to a book doesn't increase the weight a ton. And
Mm.
especially when you're doing black and white, it's
Hmm.
not going to increase a lot of your cost. You know,
Okay.
a 28 page book versus a 36 page book it's pretty similar.
Okay.
So it's not that difficult. Also, Justin, just like he said, bookmarks are very cheap. Stickers are usually a pretty cheap option. Adding fan art, so
Oh, okay.
putting it
Right.
out there where people can send in some fan art to you, and then you will pick some of your favorites and you will feature them in a gallery in the back. That's a good way for you to not have to do a ton of work, provided that you can get enough fan art to come in, which means that you have to be a lot more visible.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but people like doing fan art, because for artists who are also trying to get started, they don't they don't necessarily have people who know who they are, and being able to get a little bit of exposure in somebody else's book is always a good thing for them. And then you have some people who like to do fan art as warm-ups, and so they'll do a fan art and they'll kick it your way, and they're like, it was just a little something, and now you have artwork that you can put into something, and they get to feel like they contributed without it taking a massive amount of their time.
Okay.
um so
Fan
those
art.
are those are all things that kind of help.
Okay.
See, Frog says the same thing. Pages, bookmarks, stickers. Stickers is another big one. Fan art was Justin's first goal. And yeah, as Blue Samurai said, if you're going to add story pages instead of art, if you do a backup story, or like you were talking about, like a short story for Astrid,
Right.
something along those lines would be a good way to still kind of extend the world and give people a bigger peek into who these characters are and what they do, without
Okay.
having to alter your main story that you've already got,
Okay.
locked down. Pedro wants to know, who made your promo video?
Oh, I did. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Just iMovie, and I was looking for cool music on YouTube that was what was it? License
Royalty free.
free. Yeah, royalty free. There we go. And then I just
Yeah.
was like, I just did it.
Yeah, I think that I think it's pretty badass. One thing I will say, there's some people, it depends on your taste. And this is one thing that I disagree about with some of the other bigger names. Some people think that if you don't talk over your video, that you've just wasted time. I don't agree with that, but I'm also a videographer. That's one of the things that I like to do in my
Oh,
spare time.
cool, nice.
So when people unnecessarily ramble
Right.
over otherwise good tracks with good artwork, it drives me nuts. So I don't believe in that, but some people might tell you that. And it's always something to kind of think about when it comes to if somebody's going to play your video, and that, let's say that that's the only thing that they do to see
Right.
if they're going to back your campaign or not, is that video that you have up there going to be impactful enough for them to back it?
Right.
Or do you think that you could tweak it to make it better? So those are the kind of things that I would think about when you're doing a promotion video.
Okay. I have a lot of dope notes on this notepad.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is basically like a class and session thing. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And see, Justin even has a really good piece of advice. If you don't get enough fan art, then you can pad it with some behind the scenes concept art. So early on sketches
Oh yeah, I
between
got some
you
of
and
that.
your
Definitely.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
and people like to see how the sausage is made when it comes to comics. They like to see like
Yeah.
where something started and then the character that's actually made it into the book. So like we started with this really horrible blocky thing that looked really terrible and had giant titties for no real reason. And then we went, we don't like that idea at all. And
Right.
like, where would she have gotten dye for purple hair? That makes no sense. And so we just scrapped it, and this is what we did. You know, and
Right.
they're like, oh
Right.
wow, those are some big changes. I wonder what happened to make all those changes happen. And if you show progression where
Right.
you started getting rid of certain things that maybe weren't working, or you refined other things, and people can see how it ended up where it was,
Right.
that's always kind of interesting because you get to see somebody's thought process, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome, Green Laser. Thank you so much for coming. Frog G says maybe get a Valkyrie to write a 4-page story. Thank you,
You
Frog.
know what? You know what, Frog G? I mean, if that individual was ready and would like to, I mean, she can do it. But you know, I appreciate that idea. I'll write that down. You said you said get a Valkyrie. Okay.
A Valkyrie.
Okay. Cool. Not B, but A. Cool. Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, I'm kind of yeah, you know. We'll talk offline, man. Christy says, I kind of wonder how she got those scars. So
Oh, there is a story for sure.
Ooh.
No, for sure. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why that was the first thing we thought of was doing definitely like a Astrid mini series, because I think with her, as far as like Holger, of course the series about him, but when I'm not lying, Astrid is one of my favorite characters like I've ever created, because it was like I really fell in love with the character, and I really want to go back and explore that, because she I mean, not to be crass, but she got it out the mud when she was younger. Like, she was trained and bred for this. So
yeah,
I think she's a badass character that I really want to, you know, play with her backstory so people can see it.
yeah. I mean, that's definitely the vibe she gives off when you kind of get that like devil may care attitude with a Viking female. That's usually kind of what it was. Yeah, no, they were bred for this. Like, this is
Right.
what she does. This is
Right.
This is what she knows. You want her to be like a sweet and gentle woman that's probably going to take a very long time for you to crack the surface enough to get to that.
Right.
Like, I'm sure it's there. It's just way down.
You definitely got to dive deep.
Frog G says he recommends the red one.
Oh, cool. No worries. Appreciate you, Frog G.
Valkyrie not in Valhalla full time. Thank you guys. You guys are really we're just beating a dead horse over here. That is hilarious. Welcome, Pops Van Zant. How you doing, hun? It's great to have you guys around here. And Green Laser, you're right. I misspoke before. There are always a reason for large or small breasts. No need to ever discriminate. Boobs are great. Everybody loves them. Fight me. Tell me otherwise. Like, seriously, everybody loves boobs. Yeah, but the big thing is like you've got a lot of really great content here. You just don't have enough exposure.
Right.
You definitely need some upper tiers, and so people can throw more money at you. And one thing that I will say, if you are willing, I know you've got your issue 1 preview and you've got your 2 pages here and they're badass, but if you are willing, throwing in those 2 pages that you had sent me in DMs to bring up on screen would not hurt, because what you've got right now is cover art, map, which I understand is cool and you put a lot of work into, but at the end of the day, it's a map.
True.
Right. And then we got talkie, 2 pages of art, and then here is the postcard done.
So maybe throwing up those pages on the main page. Okay.
Yep. I would add them into the main page so people can kind of get, because you do a good job of giving them a feel of what Holger and his son are like and what that kind of faction is probably going to be like. But if Astrid is another big character in here, and while it's not her namesake, she is a pretty big badass. Why not throw a little bit of that in there too, to kind of show the other side? And so people they really get that faction feel, and they get to see more of this art and kind of how it's handled when it isn't, just a massive fight scene. You get to see all the intricacies of her facial expressions. You get to see her interaction with a bunch of these other guys and like how that goes down. I think it's something that a lot of people would get more excited about if they were able to see all of that.
Okay. I mean, and definitely, I definitely I put that in there after we, of course, finish this this live stream. But I think and that makes sense because all they get a sense is to see her on the cover, and then they see her in a tier, and it's like, okay, who is this individual? So maybe if I put her,
if you show that she's not just a throwaway character that you put on there to have a little bit of femininity appeal, like you're like, no, she's actually a main character and a pretty big badass, that would be a good way to kind of show that.
Okay.
Pasta and Zant said, just share the product to the comics related madness. Promotions and networking is what we do. Join the madness. Thank you very much, Van Zant.
Thank you.
We definitely need this to get seen by more people. And Froggy G, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out here. I hope work does not suck. You are super amazing, sir, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Chris is talking about throwing money at you. But yeah, honestly, it's a great project, and I think that it definitely should have gotten higher while it was in its first 60 days, but it was just so quiet. And right. I think that was probably the biggest nail in the coffin. It's really hard to be a writer, an artist, a colorist, and also a good PM and a good manager and all that kind of stuff. We did have earlier on, somebody wanted to know what it was like working with Wicked Publishing. And so
yeah, of course. No, definitely. Wicked Publishing was definitely actually the first publisher or I guess anybody to really look at my work and was like, hey, like we would like you to work with us. And because when I started off, I have a ninja store. I know ninjas and Vikings, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I had a ninja store, and I was like, "Hey guys, do you guys want to look at this?" And they did, and they brought me on. So working with Wicked Publishing it's been cool with me. Everything's been fine.
Okay, cool. Blue Samurai says 82 and 1653. So let's bring it up and let's do it live.
Nice. We're moving. I appreciate you guys.
Ready to go. Come on. There we go. I like it. You guys are an awesome channel, wonderful audience. I love you guys so much. So Blue Samurai says, if you're waiting to get this when he's on with Bancroft, why? What if that doesn't happen? Back to skate today or schedule it on your budget. I agree for sure. Like I said, I'm really down for this project. I think that you have a lot of really cool artwork, and it seems like a very interesting kind of story. Good hell, that is a beautiful sky.
Yeah, I had to put that up there. CT, what he's really good at, I know he's really good at backgrounds, like doing water, doing the sky. He's great at.
Yeah, that is gorgeous for sure. Yeah. And there's my girl. Look at her. I like her. Sorry, I'm a little biased.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you doing the definitely the cosplay. It's like, again, spot on.
It's almost like I
don't know. Like I just envisioned it and it became you. I don't know.
Yeah, this is it. This is me now. Hello, CG World Order. How are you doing? Yes, sir. This is indeed going in demand. We have talked extensively about how he will go in demand.
Oh, for sure.
Because we want him to have an opportunity to make more money. We're also talking about getting some original art tiers up there, because why would we not? Like,
right.
Let's just look at that scene for a second. You're telling me you don't want to own something that has this in it? I would jump at that chance to do that. That is absolutely gorgeous artwork. And we definitely need more people to get in on this and back this. So I I think you got a great product. I think that you have done a lot of good. I think that you were just underselling yourself a little bit too much. I think that we just need to show your confidence more, because you're obviously confident about this book. So, you know, let's get it out there and show people why they should be backing it, because it is phenomenal. And let's see this number get a little bit higher. I really want to see you. Do you know how long you're going to be in demand? Do you know when you're hoping to go to print?
I don't know. I think we were trying to go to print around like November-ish. So we'll be in demand for a good little month or two, month and a half, month. Okay.
All right. So I want to see you at least hit 5.
Okay.
I think that you should be able to hit 5,000. It's going to take you pushing it a lot, and it's going to take you getting on a lot of different shows, and really kind of talking about this book more. But for real, I think that you should be able to. It's got enough amazing artwork and cool premise and an interesting storyline and everything in it for it to at least hit 5.
Right. Okay. And I'll go for it for sure.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. Pops Van Zant says that he tweeted it too. He loves watching indies succeed. So what did I tell you before Pops got here? I said you have some people that just want to see indies succeed, and they'll do whatever they can to try and help that.
For real. Thank you, Pop.
Get your higher tiers up there for sure.
Yeah.
And Green Laser says, yep, if you're ever hanging out in EVS live streams, do what you can to mention it, because there's always a chance that he's going to see it and he's going to go, what is that? I don't know what that book is. And he'll pull it up and add it live. So it doesn't hurt is the point.
Right.
You also have, if you really, really want, if you want another really good place to go, is trying to see if you get in Dan Frage's stream for sure. Because he's a great guy. He's very genuine. And a lot of his streams, he has a tendency to just kind of throw the link out for people to join. And if you end up joining, then you can join, and he'll, hey, who are you? What do you do? And you bring up Holger, he'll bring it up and he'll look at it. And his advice, he'll give you his take too. But it's definitely badass.
Okay.
Justin also says you can do $5 super chats to EVS. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes he overloaded and forgets to check his super chats. But that's something that you could do. Comic book scrapyard, Frigga is the man and loves helping out indies. That is very, very true. He is all about trying to get #1 backer on every project that he possibly can. That's like his addiction. It's hilarious. And just like Green Laser said, so Dan Frege is pretty awesome. Art T. Bear is another good one to try and get on with. He is another pro that is super badass. And Justin, thank you. Says, I think I made the most from Shae and Frege's channels. Thank you very much. That makes me very happy. It's because we're genuine. We talk about stuff that we genuinely like about people's projects. And I think that we get to help you guys highlight the best parts of them. So I'm glad we got you a couple of backers. I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I appreciate, and I definitely appreciate the backers for sure. If you guys are still out there, thank you for backing my book. But even more so, I really appreciate your knowledge and your advice. Like, to be completely honest, like that stuff is what I need, and I feel like that is going to definitely help me push further.
Absolutely,
especially when I go to the next one.
Absolutely. The thing is the way that I got all this knowledge to give all of this advice is I've been a part of and have worked on a couple different projects. I have covered even more, so many projects. You start going through the Red Valkyrie list, there's a lot. There's a lot, and I cosplayed for all of them. Damn it, it's insane. Oh, you guys, like, if you saw my office right now, there's just random, like, I got a hat from God's Hand, I got a hat from Bric-a-Brac, I got the wig from Dutton's thing, I got bracers from another thing. Like, I'm just, it looks like a costume shop blew up.
Right.
But that's what I do. This is what I think it's fun. This is what I like doing. And honestly, you got a super badass book. So I want to see it do better for sure. Yeah, just like Pedro said, his project isn't even ready. Anyone on Frega's channel. Green Lizard, thank you. So Shae is the best. It's very sweet of you. But yeah, I think that you got a great book, and I definitely think we can see that number rise. Do you have any last little parting shots that you'd like to throw out there for the audience?
No, I do not. Definitely, if you guys out there, again, back 656 books. I've seen that and I got it back in myself. And anything else, I guess, for real, thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your advice, whatever the case may be. Shae, thank you for bestowing your knowledge on me, and I appreciate you.
Absolutely, dude. And thank you guys in the chat for hanging out with us. You guys are always so awesome. I appreciate everybody just pouring in the advice. That is so wonderful to see. I love seeing everybody's questions and everything like that. You guys are by far the reason that I do this is because I have such an amazing chat and I get to talk about such badass comic books. And that's why I do this. I do this whether I sleep or not. It's amazing. So thank you guys so much for letting me be able to kind of hang out and enjoy my free time. If you could please, if you haven't already, if you could please like, share, and subscribe to Red Valkyrie. We are definitely on target to doing a very, very awesome celebration stream in October for it's multifaceted. If you guys didn't know, we are celebrating getting monetized. We are celebrating being able to have memberships. We are celebrating Sai getting back from overseas, and we are celebrating Shae's 35th birthday. So it's going to be a blowout. I have got artwork. I've got prints. I've got comics. I've got all kinds of great stuff. I am going to be giving away as much as possible because I want to thank you guys for all of your love and support for us. Super amazing people. Justin, I see you say you have one last question, sir. You are lucky. You are lucky I saw it before I hit the end stream, but I'm going to need you to post it quickly. Also, we had try to hit up Nyla Scala of Pop XP. Go with him and Billy Tucci. He's definitely another really good one to get on with. Tony goes, when's your birthday? Mine's the 20th. Ooh, I beat you on the 18th. Bam. And then, oh my gosh, Justin, I stopped the stream for this question. Really? Did he find a $5 bill on the ground in his icon photo?
Yes, I did.
Really? Thank you, Justin.
I appreciate it.
I'm happy that we stopped the show for that. That was amazing. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for coming out. Seriously, this has been a blast as always. And make sure that you go and check out Holger and back it and share it. Make sure you share it once it has original artwork up there too, because that definitely that'll sell. That'll absolutely sell. And thank you so much, Honors, for coming and hanging out with me. That was badass.
Sure.
We will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.